Yeah, I can always speak freely.
So what do you think?
So first of all, let's talk commercial real estate. Commercial real estate is in terrible trouble. I mean, you'll hear people say it's bottomed out. It's not going to bottom out. When you have vacancy rates in this city of 25% and occupancy rates of almost 50% or less than 50%, it can't recover. And that's because our whole nature of work has changed. And so whether it be Los Angeles or New York or Texas, your commercial buildings in general, unless talking about new ones, are pretty much finished.
You don't believe, so we've had a lot of your colleagues and peers, if you will, come on the broadcast who own a lot of stuff in New York and in a lot of big cities, and they say, it's coming back, don't worry. And you're saying it's not coming. I mean, we didn't have a camera.
I mean, commercial real estate, offices, buildings. After pandemic and people realize, I could just do this job at work. A lot of people stay at home. So I'd rather keep a job at home. And I know there's a lot of companies that are trying to tell people to come back to the office. Some submitted to it. Some did not. Said, I'll find another job. Because there's plenty of employers out there who embrace remote work. So I think this is probably like the huge push is, get people back in the office, because there's a lot of things that circulate in the economy when people go back to the office. They have to buy more gas, so that puts money into people's pockets. They have to get more car maintenance, that puts people in business. Pay for the parking for whatever parking lot you have to pay for to get to work. That keeps people in business, keeps jobs. The rent that's being paid on these office spaces, someone's getting paid for that. I mean, that's the big thing. This, going to lunch. You go to a local lunch place, restaurant, there's a lot of things about stimulating the economy, keeping things in motion. That's why there's a huge push to get people back in the office. That's why you hear a lot of people in government trying to get people back in the office, whether it be hybrid or full-time.
And it come back. It used to be that an 11 or 12% vacancy was a disaster for our industry. We now have 25% vacancies, and work has changed. I mean, the biggest issue is that work has changed, and that does not look like it's likely to change. 3 days a week as opposed to 5 days a week. And in case of law firms, probably 20% of the people come.
So therefore, what do you think happens when you throw congestion pricing on top of that?
I'm sorry, what?
The congestion pricing taxing on top of that?
I don't think that's
not a big impact?
Not compared to the real problem. The real problem is people not coming to work. And when you have that, if you have a company where only, we got 49% occupancy as opposed to vacancy, it's not coming back. And to think for a minute that it is actually just because that's what
okay. So for the investor class,
he must have misspoke. It's not that people don't want to work. People have to work. How else are they going to pay their bills? Hello, people don't want to go back to the office for many reasons, and it was just what I was mentioning. I work remotely, and there's so many benefits about working remotely. I don't have to spend so much money on gas. I don't have to worry about paying so much money on car maintenance. I don't have to fight traffic and risk getting into a car accident, especially how aggressive people drive, especially in the summertime. Or people who take public transit, they don't have to pay for the bus ride to go there anymore. So that saves money, more money in your pocket, which is a good thing. You have more time to yourself. So instead of like a 1 hour commute fighting traffic and another hour commute coming back from traffic, plus, an hour lunch break at work, that you don't get paid for, right? Because it's an hour lunch, but you're not at your house. So that's at least 3 hours of not your real personal time. It's committed to someone else, but you're not getting paid for it. So that 3 hours is so impactful that you can have to yourself at home and do something else with that time. And the list goes on. I'm sure people are going to mention in the comments about what's important. And I feel like I'm going to connect some dots. I feel like I just saw another YouTuber talk about the crisis of commercial real estate. 1 second. Okay, this is a recent video by Jaspreet Singh. He does his YouTube channel called Minority Mindset, and he's really smart. He's a really good guy. I highly recommend checking him out and subscribing to him. But this is like the first 30 seconds I want to just get into, because he highlights a lot of important points.
The commercial real estate market is getting hammered. We just got data showing that foreclosure rates are skyrocketing as interest rates stay high and landlords can't afford to pay their mortgages. Now, if you're a visual learner like me, take a look at this. Commercial foreclosures sank during the pandemic, but over the last 12 months, we've been seeing this steady rise in commercial real estate foreclosures. But don't forget,
that's crazy, because these foreclosures in real estate should ring a bell about hey, there might be a potential crash coming in that might break a lot of things in the economy. And I know there's a lot of people who are like, get back to the office, this and that. And a lot of people, it's just they're bitter because they have to go back to the office or they don't have a remote job that, not everyone wants to go back to the office. Not everyone wants to go back to the office. And you know what? It's not just the employees who embrace remote work. It's also a lot of small business owners who embrace remote work. They don't have to have this huge overhead. I don't need this big office when I could just have the same type of productivity while everyone works at home. I don't need this overhead. Maybe just a smaller office. So mandatory in-person meetings that we have to have. We can't do it over remote, especially with clients or whatever. It could be a smaller office. They don't need to pay this big office anymore. People can work from home or no office at all. It just saves so much money for the employer, right? So this is another reason that commercial real estate is in big trouble. And of course, you're seeing all the big push. I think the big push is coming from a lot of the landlords of commercial real estate talking to their local government friends saying, hey, we need to push to get people back in the office. They're talking to the news organizations like I just saw CNBC or Fox News be like, hey, push an agenda to get people back to work. And if they don't go back to work, call them lazy, call them this and that and this and that. Not everyone wants to go back to the office. Office culture sucks. Going back to office sucks. You have to deal with paying into gas. Gas prices are expensive. You have to pay more money on car maintenance. The time it takes to get to the office, an hour lunch, an hour back driving, that's at least 3 hours out of your day. That's not yours, that you're not getting paid for, but you have to commit it to your employer. 3 hours is so impactful of your life. There's also the chance of, risking yourself into a car accident if you're going to the office 5 times a week. Or if you don't have a car, you don't have to pay for public transportation like a bus or anything, so you save more money that way. That 1 hour lunch break you have to take at work when you're not at home. I mean, you go to the local restaurants and you have to pay, $22 for a salad? And especially with those team activity events where people say, hey, let's go to lunch together and let's all pay $22 for a salad. Yay. It's like, no, I don't want to buy an overpriced salad. Plus, going to the office, there's so much more drama. There's HR complaints. People don't get along. People touch each other. Yeah, and people will come into work sick, coughing over each other. Then bathrooms are gross. I hate using the bathroom at work where you have to do those potlucks that you don't want to be a part of, but people give you the weird shameful look if you don't want to participate, or they pass around that birthday card, be like, hey, this is so-and-so's birthday, we're all chipping in $10. I don't want to chip in $10. I want to just keep my money. You guys don't have to give me a gift. Or the shameless pizza parties they keep putting out because they don't want to raise people's pay, so they just give them pizza parties and just give everyone a shot of sugar with refined carbohydrates and sodas. Oh yeah, because that's a good thing to have in your culture. Anyway, I digress. I thought that was a lot, but there is definitely going to be a shift on the commercial real estate. They probably have to turn some of these offices into just living spaces. Hey, we're in a housing crisis. Turn them into homes. No one wants to go into that office. Use that space for something more useful. Instead of working offices, just let people live there. I'm going to read some comments. Here's a good one someone just posted. Force F. White writes, this reminds me of how malls became vacant due to economic competition and market saturation. If the office buildings cannot diversify, they will remain losing investments. Yeah, it's just the invisible hand of the market. Let the free market do its thing. If you're an absolute capitalist, you don't want government interference in this. Either innovate and thrive or just don't change and fall apart, because you need to adapt if you want to keep moving forward. Someone said, bailouts on the way, no crash resulting in higher inflation, big banks get saved, middle class is screwed. This is like the whole Occupy Wall Street again, if that were to ever happen. If these commercial real estates get bailed out, because who owns them, right? Who are the landlords? They're the multimillionaires, right? That's why they're putting that big push to all the news and governments, like, hey, tell people to go back to the office. Otherwise, let's call them a piece of crap for doing that. For not wanting to come back to the office, right? Another person says, so it's 2008 all over again. Upside down and leaving homes empty, just walking out of them. That's probably the same for commercial real estate, not just housing real estate that we experienced in 2008. This could be another version of it, but commercial. So landlords walking away from these buildings, they might be vacant, or they're selling them for super cheap. You know, they got it for, you know, just easy numbers. Say they got it for $100 and now they got to sell it for $10. Someone else will have a better idea to use that, invest it, make it into housing or something, right? Another person says, no need to go back to the office when the same thing is accomplished without huge real estate expensive. Yeah, we live in a different age where things can be accomplished at home now, more than ever before. Especially now with a gig economy, especially with computers, high-speed internet, remote work. You don't need someone to be over your shoulder to train you. They can just show you remotely on Teams or Zoom or something. So things are shifting. It's just a matter of adapting to them, or you can complain all day and go bankrupt. Don't get me wrong on remote work. There's some people who enjoy going back to the office, and that's great. There's people who enjoy not going to the office and work from home. That's great too. There's people who just don't like the office lifestyle, sitting at a desk at all. They work in trades and do something with their hands. That's great too. It's just we're in this adapted phrase where, you know, going to the office is going down, and there's an embracement of people just say they want the office life, but in their house. They could just make their extra room into an office and just work from there and not have to drive, because what's the point? I could do everything here. I don't need to go there, and you're making me go there to do a meeting that's going to be virtual. I'm going to lose my freaking mind. Well, that's enough for this video. So if you like to comment below, please comment below. I want to hear what you have to say. I do read the comments. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for your time. Bye.